buenas a todos. Estamos en la primera carrera fuera del campeonato World Karting, aquí en el circuito de HENAKART. Hace 3 meses que corrimos aquí, tuvimos un pequeño accidente, así que vamos a ver qué tal será la carrera de hoy.
Welcome back to a new video, welcome back to a new race, and the first one which doesn't take part of a championship in any form. So let's talk a little bit about this race that it was organized by the members of the circuit. So they had 4 categories divided by maximum weight. The first one was up to 90 kilos and the second one up to 75, and those 2 categories were divided by another 2 between pro and amateur. This category had 35 drivers or so, divided between 2 groups, and we had 2 qualifying runs and 2 races, so a similar format in which we race at the championship. So this is the first qualifying run. I had to go out in the first one and not the second one, which is always better, as the engines of the karts are hotter and the tires are also a little bit better. But it didn't matter because I came to learn. It was my first time racing unknown people, so I didn't know how they were going to react, which lines they were taking. Here I let some karts through because I want to leave me some space, but a few laps after I found traffic again, and this is the issue around such a short track as it is HENAKART. The lap time is around 36 seconds and it has only 6 turns, so it is very likely that you will find lots of traffic in the qualifying runs, and the best strategy is to leave some space for you cleaner as soon as you can, because if not, you can lose a lot of time behind other karts, maybe 1 or 1.5 seconds, which are crucial for the qualifying runs. So now we are going to start our fastest lap time of the session, which was on the last lap. So no time for mistakes, and let's give it everything. Flat out between the first and second turn. Again, put the car into a straight line, brake, don't touch the apex because the car will bounce a lot. Very technical section, you need to be careful to not bounce between the turn. And here we stay to the inside because we run less distance. Again, brake between the middle of the apex, a normal line, and that's it, a full lap around HENAKART, which was enough for P9 in our group, but P15 overall. So now we are going to head to the pits and wait for the other drivers for the other group to make their qualifying run and get ready for our race. So our qualifying personal best, I think it's our fastest lap ever around here, the 36.317. So now we are heading to the start finish line and get ready to roll. There's the man with the checker flag, and we are going to wait until it drops, but we cannot overtake until we pass that cone. So here we push just a little bit to the guys in front, and as soon as we leave that cone, we are ready to overtake. Try to take the inside line, but I was a little bit too optimistic, and as a result of that I lose a place. So now I'm P16, and I want to overtake these drivers as soon as possible because in this section of the track we are losing a lot of time, which is crucial, and we don't want that. So just stay behind these guys, try to hit at the tires a little bit, as the first 2 laps are not going to be very fast. There is a lot of carnage in the last turn, maybe 4 or 5 karts wide. I don't know how many positions we gained there, couldn't count them, but we carry on, try to avoid any trouble, we don't want to be in the gravel. So we take an inside line, try to overtake one driver, and indeed we gain a position, but he's still there, no, he's not there. Okay, so we gain the place and we go to the inside again, but this move doesn't work, so I stay behind and wait for another chance. The driver with the white helmet tries a savage dive bomb, which doesn't work for him, so he loses crucial momentum and we stay behind him but cannot overtake because we had a car in our right. Luckily we didn't lose the position, and again losing lots of time in this section. The drivers in front are braking very early, they don't have the confidence to brake later, or maybe their cars are a little bit worse than mine. Well, I didn't talk about the rules of the race. So we had a mandatory pit stop with a change of kart. We had to enter the pits between the first 5 minutes of the race and the last 5 minutes. The minimum pit stop time was 1 minute and 56 seconds. We had a screen which was telling us the time we were doing in the pit stop, so we had no problems with that. I wasn't worried about that, and we are behind this driver which is much slower than us. We take the inside line to defend from the driver behind, but he makes the old switcheroo, so now I'm going to lose a place as a result of that and stay behind him to see what he does better than me. Sometimes it is better to let other drivers through and do not fight with each other and lose crucial momentum and time. As I do here, this driver dives down the inside and I don't really fight it because I don't think it's worth it. You lose much more time fighting for a position than doing normal runs with clean air, so sometimes it's all about strategy. You know, you need to find a driver which has a similar pace to yours and stay behind him for a few laps, study his lines, see what you can improve from him, try to learn from others and put that into practice because you will be much faster. The drivers in front brake very early for this turn, but it is very soon still to pit, so we need to stay on track for another couple of minutes, I believe, and then we are free to enter the pit lane. But you see, these drivers get a little bit away, but as they are a group of 3, they are losing a lot of time, and as soon as they exit one turn, I gain a lot of momentum because I gain that distance very quickly. So gaining one position again, carrying more momentum and more exit speed through the turn, I was able to gain the place back. But I'm getting a little bit frustrated because I don't know how much time I'm losing, but I guess quite a lot because these drivers doesn't seem to be working with each other, more or less fighting for a position which is a little bit useless, to be honest, because as I said before, you want to be in clean air as much as possible, do some consistent laps and not lose time fighting with each other. And consistency is the key around any track, but especially in this one, which is extremely short. Sometimes the grid positions are decided by thousandths of a second. I remember when I did the race here back in September that the driver in front had qualified me by 7 thousandths of a second. And if I remember correctly, if I had gone 2 tenths quicker, I would have gained 6 more places. So that's the key. You need to find your space and adapt to the track conditions and the circuit very quickly. Try to run as much laps as you can in clean air. If you make some mistakes, that's okay, because you know it's only qualifying as long as they don't affect any other drivers. But you know, if you go wide at this turn, the next lap you think, okay, I need to brake or turn a little bit earlier. Let's try to put that into practice and see if it works, and so on. Now that I'm behind this driver, I'm losing between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths, between a quarter of a second and half a second at least. But as he pits, I decide to go for a couple of laps more and try to close the distance between the driver in front. Now we are in clean air completely, but every lap we are getting closer and closer, and this lap time was a time of 36.5. so as soon as I'm traffic free, shall we say, you see how the lap times are improving. We took that corner to perfection, I would say, because the car didn't bounce at all, or at least I didn't feel like it did. And now I'm starting to become more familiar with turn 5, which in my first runs I was going too wide as we make our personal best lap of the race there. And now I have noticed that if I clip the apex just a little bit, I gain more grip. The car doesn't bounce very much because the curve is very short, and I'm able to gain more time. So we are going to try to replicate that lap after lap. Now starting lap 17, I think we should be ready to pit very soon. Not still, but our last lap was half a second slower than our personal best. So you see the importance of running in clean air, not with traffic. And well, I don't know why I didn't pit early, to be honest. Maybe it's the lack of experience. I have not been racing in this kind of events, but now I learned my lesson, and I have very clear that as soon as I find some traffic, I will try to make an undercut or an overcut if they pit earlier than me. And as you see, the lack of experience is hitting again. We were trying to dive down the inside, but I was a little bit confused, didn't know what to do, and you saw how much slower we were, 38 seconds. So every lap we make a 37.5, for example, that's 1.5 seconds slower. So finally in this lap we decided to pit, because that was more than enough for me. I was losing lots of time, and here they take the plate number out of the cart, and also the weight, which was 10 kilos. They added 10 kilos of weight, as the category was a minimum of 75, and I weighed 65 with the helmet on. So as soon as my cart is ready, they tell me to go at the front. There's the owner of the circuit, and he tells me what should I do, and now I'm going to translate it for you. So if you don't understand Spanish, he says that as soon as the screen changes to green and hits the 156 mark, we are ready to go. Changing the brightness of the video slightly so that you can see how it changes from red to green. And now we are free. We can try to make some consistent lap at least, but this one wasn't very fast. And now the driver that was in front of us before we pitted exits the pits, but as we carry more speed, we are able to overtake him. So there's an undercut for you, manual undercut, like some people say in my country, and we are able to carry on and try to close the distance. 3 laps later, we were able to catch a group of 2 drivers which were losing a lot of time together, and in the next 2 turns I closed the gap a lot to them, and now I'm very, very close. Try to go 3 wide, take the outside line, but the driver in front doesn't see me, pushes me off the track, not on purpose of course, but I think that was quite a risky move from me, and maybe I should have thought better about it. Now we are in P13, I believe we are P13, because we didn't overtake any more drivers after this one, and we ended up P12. So I'm trying to be patient, see where he is slower, and well, here I think he lets us through because that wasn't really fighting nor making any mistake. Maybe he thought I was one of the leaders, and well, to be honest, I don't know if he was a lap driver or not. Probably not, because we are quite at the back and the leaders are way in front, maybe 20 seconds in front of us, or even more. And well, that was all of it. Here is the race results. P12 started P15, not the best finish, but we'll take it because we gained some places. In conclusion, we should have pitted much earlier, maybe 5, 6 or 7 minutes earlier, and who knows, maybe we would have finished in the top 10 or even better. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave me a comment if you enjoyed the race, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!
Is that right?